I have to tell you, with all the businesses I've established, with everything, with all the success, I felt like my life had no meaning.
Was it depression?
Yeah.
How tough did it get?
Very bad. I would say like all the way to suicidal thoughts and like questions where like, why am I here? Why is this even life?
Very good. Actually, as the norm would say, social media influencer. What is a social media influencer?
I do not identify with that title. I just don't. Actually, let me put this way. I sing, right? So I'm a singer.
She is.
I sing gospel, and because of where I'm from, I'm Congolese, like I mentioned. I do a lot of like Congolese cover songs. That's how it started. It was just like messing around back in Manchester. Actually, I used to always cook and record myself singing with my sisters, and I started sharing them on my Instagram, and they started going viral. I'm going back to being active on Instagram again. I did take a break.
Can I ask why
the Instagram
you decided to take a break?
I think it becomes a bit much.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I don't identify with the term influencer because I don't do anything on Instagram like with the sole purpose of getting like attention or followers or likes or whatever. So it was never that for me. My videos just started going viral, and that's how we grew quickly, very quickly. It came with a lot of unexpected things, and for me, not being a social media person and not really knowing, not having the mindset like of an influencer, maybe the tough skin that you need to be in that kind of world, it did affect me. So I did find myself just not really feeling like being on there. I didn't really post as much anymore, but you know, when you're called to do something, you can't quite have peace if you just decide to stop doing it because other people's opinions and stuff. So yeah.
Which brings me to my next question, actually. Social media comes with the positive things and the negative things. Do you want to maybe mention first a few positives come out of having a following as big as yours?
It's the opportunities that I have gotten here in China. It's crazy because most of my followers are like mostly like based in France and Africa because of the type of content that I post, but because of my following, to get lots of like little jobs and little contracts with like companies here in China. So I've worked with the likes of AliExpress and different brands and stuff like that. Those are opportunities that have come without me actually even ever looking for them. They just came because I'm in China, I have a following. They're like, do you want to do this? I'm like, great. I did make really good money like for the time that I was working with those agencies, and it was like I never looked for it, you know what I mean? So those kind of opportunities are really great. And there's also like the visibility, because even with my music, with my singing, it was always a hobby. It was never like a thing that I was like, I'm gonna follow. But because of the visibility, because of the following, a lot of people start to notice you. So I've been in conversation with different like labels and stuff like that. Wow. So that too comes with being visible and having a following. But I guess in the same breath, it comes with a lot of negativity, and you have to develop a certain type of tough skinness to be able to deal with that. You know, if you're not strong-minded, you will crumble.
Let's get to the nitty and gritty. I mean, what you mean by that is, let's be honest, like comments.
Yeah, comments, DMs, all of it, like criticism, I want to say. If you're somebody who, you know, you're not used to being criticized, and not just criticized in a way that will lead you to improve yourself, but criticized in a way to like shut you down and, you know, put you down and make you lose maybe self-confidence or that kind of thing. I just couldn't understand it because I just never understood why that was happening. I'm not doing anything different. I'm just doing what I used to do in my kitchen while cooking, and you guys loved so much. You made go viral, but like the same time, you're the same people that are sending comments like, oh, you know, you're not good, don't do this, like, why are you doing this, you should just leave it alone, why would you even try, like these kind of comments. And it's like, Yeah, it gets to you.
And how did you deal with that? So,
well, I didn't. I didn't, because I couldn't understand how it went from something so innocent, something so positive, to that. I know people are like, we don't understand how people can be negative about what you do. All you're doing is singing gospel music in your house. You're not doing anything controversial. Do you know what I mean? But there are going to be people out there who, no matter what you do, they're going to say something. Even the Bible says, like, what kind of people are you? Like, you can't be pleased. If they cry, they cry. If they party, then there's a problem. So it's like, you can't do anything to please people. Actually, that's just what it is. When God's given you a gift, it's primarily to minister to you. And that's something that I missed a lot when I took a break off social media. I didn't just take a break off social media, but actually I found myself unable to just be myself and sing and be my happy self. I could feel parts of me just dying, because I'm like, I didn't do this for people. I used to do this because do you know what I mean? And I found myself being really just feeling a sadness, because there's something missing about who you are. You sing because that's who you are. When I sing, I feel good. Before I even turn on my phone to film or anything, I feel good. That's why I turn on my phone to film. And so when I found myself unable to do that, that was really hard. Yeah, that really put a big dent in my mental health. And I think we live in a time where, unfortunately, we have so much access to what other people have to say. Whereas before, what someone thinks about you, you don't know, you don't care. But now everyone has so much access to you, and it's a little bit difficult to avoid these kinds of things.
Let's talk a little bit about your mental health journey. You just mentioned it. So is that where it started?
Yeah.
And can I say, like, was it depression?
Yeah. Before moving to China, I mean, that was just not me. You know what I mean? It's like, your divine is the person that you go to for good vibes, for good advice, just always happy, because that's who I was. You know, that's who I shared on my social media, not for likes. That's really legit who that's my life. I go to work, I get home, and before I even take my shoes off, put my music on, I'm doing me. When I was feeling so anxious to do anything that like involved singing or even filming myself, it was so much anxiety, and because of that I was starting to feel really depressed, because I wasn't doing the things that give me life. You know, that's what I always say to people. If you deprive yourself of the things that light a spark in you, whether you're actually physically alive or not, you are dead inside. That's how I felt.
It was during the pandemic that you mentioned that it got worse?
Middle 2020 going all the way to, you know, almost just recently, really dark times.
Do you mind me asking how bad did it get? How tough did it get? Like,
very bad. I would say like all the way to suicidal thoughts and like questions where like, why am I here? Why is this even life? It shouldn't be like this. Partly I felt like I was so stuck and I was so alone, because being in China without your family and stuff, and not really being a person who talks a lot, so I don't really talk. Which
is so crazy to me. I think because like Divine, even in church, you're so bubbly, so friendly out there, always singing. She's an amazing singer. And then to find out that this was something that you were going through was such a shock. And I'm so glad that you're opening up, because I know you're helping other people, even in your Instagrams. Also the facade situation. Someone may look like they're happy on the outside, but you just don't know. You don't know deep down and what they're going through behind closed doors. When you went through those really difficult times, what helped you get through them?
Being stuck somewhat in China and being alone, and
not doing what you love doing,
and not talking about what you're going through. That was recipe for disaster.
Did your husband know that you were going?
Barely. Yeah.
So not even your husband knew. The closest person to you didn't even know.
No, I wasn't. I was just not able to come to terms with what was really happening to me. I don't come from a place where mental health is a thing, and when I realized that, okay, I think I'm depressed, you know, this is not normal. I can't be so anxious that even at the mention of singing, I'm like shaking. That's not who I am. Like, I love to sing.
Because of our cultural backgrounds. I think the same with my Asian background. Like, mental health is still a bit of a stigma. Not spoken about.
It's not spoken about. It's not really appreciated. And my mom, bless her heart, she was like, you just gotta pray. You gotta pray. And you know, I'm a Christian. I gave my life to Christ, and you know, I have a relationship with Christ. But it comes a point where, with mental health, you need medication. You need help. You need physical, mental help, as well as the spiritual.
Helps, right?
Prayer absolutely.
Helps, but you also need to act on it.
Absolutely.
Is that what helped you?
For me, that's things started turning around when I started opening up to the people that love and care about me, and the people that know who I am, because I was really starting to have thoughts like, God, I've changed so much since coming to this country, like what the hell. And that's another thing, because it was triggered when I was in China. A lot of the times I found myself associating feeling that way with China, but actually it's just that the anchor, you know, in psychology there's such term where wherever you've created a memory, whenever you are in that place, you've already put an anchor there. So in my mind, China equals the most darkest times of my life, even though I've done so much great things here. Before I started talking about it, I was like, since I've come to this country, my mental health has deteriorated. But it's actually not China. It's just what's happened to me. It's happened to me while I've been in China. China hasn't actually done that to me, if that makes sense. So turned around when I started opening up to like my sister, my best friend, and they were just like shocked. Just couldn't believe what they were hearing, and I guess they were heartbroken to find out that I would, you know, go through that for so long by myself. We put plans in place for me to start doing therapy and stuff like that. Before I would be so anxious and I wouldn't do anything. Now I'm like anxious, but I can talk about it with somebody. With my therapy, which is like, I do a Christian-based recovery program, which is like at church with our church. And you are basically partnered up with an accountability partner, somebody who's also going through recovery. It could be whatever their issue is, but you're both going through things. So what we do is we talk to each other, open heart, just everything, whatever. We check in on each other, intentional questions, things like that. To me, beyond the group, that is the one thing that has helped me. Because I was saying to my mom, I was like, some people need to take medication, other people need to talk. I needed to talk. 2 years of silence and struggling I think that's what made a lot of my journey really, really hard. And I found that when I started talking, I started feeling lighter. Even my anxiety, even though it took like a few months before I felt strong again, before I felt like, okay, I can sing again and I can actually record and share, I can come up and say, look, this is what's been going on. That's what I needed. I needed to talk. And so that's what I want to say to whoever's going through this, because you just got to talk. You know, for me, it started with journaling. I would write everything. There's nothing I didn't write. I just wrote everything. But when I started talking and getting it out and having someone to hold me accountable, having someone to be vulnerable to, because sometimes people think, well, you have a husband, but it's not the same. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a level of vulnerability that you can get to with maybe a complete stranger who is going through what you're going through that you probably could not reach with someone that you actually share your life with. That's where the professional help comes in. For me, that was been the main thing that's helped me, and it's something that I've got to be intentional about. Every week you have to
regular attendance.
So it's a 6 months program. I'm in the 3rd month now, and we follow this book, and it asks you questions, and you have to answer these questions honestly and truthfully. And the good thing is, it's not just targeting the depression, the anxiety, but it's your life. Even though my anxiety was triggered by social media comments, I was dealing with lots of traumas from childhood. All of the traumas, all of the whatever issues I may have had, daddy issues, attachment issues, abandonment issues, all of these things came up because I was in this place where I started questioning so many things. You know what I mean? So you may not be depressed, but you might still have trauma that you haven't dealt with, and it's going to manifest itself in your life at some point. And I would even say, get the therapy, get the recovery, get the talking before it gets too bad, before it's too late. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't just wait. Don't go to the dentist because your teeth are falling out, basically. Get your checkup. Do that, because again, because we don't do this in our culture, therapy is just not a thing. It's just like, you're not just, why do we go to doctors for general, just to get checked up, see everything is okay, but we don't we don't do that for our mind. When everything goes off here, then nothing works on the outside.
No.
We need to give just as much importance to the mental health as we do to like maybe our physical and then other such health.
I mean, looking back, you've gone through everything. You've set up businesses, you've moved to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
You are a successful businesswoman who went through some dark periods.
Yeah.
Still in recovery and healing from it all. Because it's a journey. Looking back, is there anything you would have done different?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I actually really honestly believe that my life has turned out exactly how it was meant to. I'm quite an obedient person, especially when it comes to like listening to God's voice, because a lot of times in my life it's always been like, God, what should I do?
Yeah.
And then something comes up and then I just go with it and then here I am, kind of thing.
So many good things has come to you. Moving to the other side of the world.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of some crazy stuff.
I think we shouldn't. That's another thing that we tend to do as well as people, because we are sort of programmed to remember what hurts us more than what brings us joy. You know, there's definitely been more highs than has been lows. I have an incredible life in China.
She really does.
I'm not gonna front. Like my stress just comes from me doing too much.
What helped you and what turned around for you was when you started to get those things.
Community.
The community is such a big deal, especially
I'm telling
when you
you.
live abroad.
Oh yeah.
You're away from family, friends, your comfort zone, so you need to find your own routines.
That's so important. I can't speak of how much like my life changed when I found my church in China. Being a part of something is so incredible. Like it does a lot. It's bigger than myself. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I miss my family, but I'm not alone. That's how I felt like beginning of 2020. But you know, it's like I'm not alone, and it feels good to know that whatever I may be going through, I have a family, I have people that have got my back, that can pray for me.
You almost have to build a family wherever you are, right? With those people that you're surrounded with.
Become a part of where you live.
Local life,
Become a part of where you are, and don't just like isolate yourself.
Because it's easy to do that, right?
It is,
especially when you're living alone and you know work is busy, etc. You come home to yourself.
Got to be intentional, basically. Be intentional about building something. Because what I found is when I moved to China, everyone used to tell me, people just pass through. You don't really establish anything. You don't really lay any foundations, because you're just here momentarily. But that, to me, I don't like to feel like that. I like to be grounded. And actually, I found when I started putting pictures on my wall in my house and designing it the way I love, it started feeling more and more like home. And I started being, involving myself with the local. Even if I'm going to stay here just for a year, you got to do that.
That's it.
Then you get the full experience. So I encourage you, if you're a foreigner in the country or wherever you are, just become part of where you are.
I think final question to wrap this up is, who has impacted you or affected you or inspired you in any way from your journey in general, whether it's in China or who that you want to shout out?
Oh wow, it's a shout out time.
Shout out, yes.
Wow, I mean, there's gonna be a few in it. Even though we speak of social media and its negative side, there are some incredible people on social media. Not even people that necessarily pour into you, but people who need you. People who your calling is for them. When I stop doing what God has called me to do, there's something missing for them. These people inspire me because they never stop coming to check in. Where are you? Why are you not posting? You don't know how much your videos lift me up. When I look at you singing on Instagram, even if it's a 30 seconds video, that lifts me up and gives me courage.
Yeah, it's true. Gosh, I've learned so much about you. I thought I knew Divine, but now I know you in a different level.
Those people, they're also a part of the reason why I had to get up and say, you know what, you gotta do something about this. God's called you to sing so you can lift people. There are souls who are lost and they can't be saved unless you are obedient to God's calling on your life. And so I had to get up and be like, sort it out. There's always going to be someone who doesn't like you, doesn't like what you do, doesn't agree, doesn't, but you gotta keep going. You gotta do what God's called you to do. That's it. You can't, there's no other way around it. I have to tell you, with all the businesses I've established, with everything, with all the success, I felt like my life had no meaning because I wasn't doing what God's called me to do. And yeah, okay, right now the platform is Instagram, but who knows what God's going to do in the future. It's all about obedience. So that's what it is.
And sometimes you're going to question yourself, or even God, like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I asked him many times. I was like, so you made me take a pay cut, you made me come to this country, I can't understand what they're saying, what for? But you know, it's barely 3 years and I'm financially independent. I have to say, I have an amazing husband, very supportive, who is also someone who inspires me a lot. Actually, he's the reason why I'm an entrepreneur today, because I never thought that I could be. You know, he's such a boss, he goes hard, and he always used to tell me, you can do this, you can do this, and he helps me, he allows me to be everything that I want to be. He's great. Yeah.
Fine, I could literally talk to you for hours. Gosh, you're such an inspiration to
Thank you so much.
And a lot of people look up to you. Just keep doing you. Keep doing God's work through you. And I just am so grateful to have met you.
Oh, me too. And, so sad you're leaving. Oh my gosh, I can't do it.
But I mean, it's gonna be a friendship.
Yes, of course.
Sure.
I'll see you back in the
can't wait to see
back in the end.
Can't wait to see what's next for this one, because I'm sure this is just the beginning of her story here in China.
Yeah.
She's already gone through a lot, but look where she is.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad to hear you're doing
this
better.
has been a pleasure.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you guys.
Have learned something, and if you are going through anything at the moment, there will be some links below in the description. Definitely get help, and just don't do this alone. We'll be back next time, only here on Journey with Jenny. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Thank you.
I'm crying.
Oh my God.
Oh, darling.
Dieu on le cherche, Dieu on le cherche, Dieu on le cherche.
Quand on le cherche, il se laisse trouver.